Know yourself, know your students, know your content, know your pedagogy. This means you need to know your identity personally and professionally. You need to know your students' identity, like where they come from and how they learn. And of course, you need to know the content and information you're teaching. And lastly, you need to know how you will be teaching this content. Your personal identities would include your age, gender, race, ethnicity, while on the other hand, your professional identity would be your education, your work background, your thinking process, and things like that. These two things are separate because your professional identity is scratching the surface of who you really are, while your personal identity is really digging deep and getting to know your identity. These two things are related because they both make up who you essentially are. Identity matters, especially in education, because middle school is when students are trying to find their identity and figure out where they fit in. This matters as a teacher because knowing your identity will make your job a lot easier, and expressing this will lead a good example for your students as well. Student identity is related to physical education and teaching because you need to know your students and what kind of learners they are and able to teach them and for that information to actually stick. You also need to know their background and where they come from. Current culturally relevant pedagogy is important because it recognizes the importance of cultural diversity in education. It is a significant approach to promoting the success and well-being of students regardless of their cultural backgrounds. Professionals require years of training. Learning and preparation to essentially prepare you for what you're about to get yourself into. A lot of professionals in the same field share the same terminology that the public usually won't understand. Being in a profession makes you gain a lot of public trust. While on the other hand, an example of a job would be someone working at Chipotle who only needs a couple of weeks of training before they can actually start doing their job. They don't really have to know the importance or the significance of their job. The story Savage Equalities reveals a lot about the significance of how school funding, extracurricular activities, and overall the physical structure of the school buildings impact the students. It compares to low-income schooling districts to high-income school districts and what a drastic difference it makes. Physical education is a learning process. It's a learning process for both the teachers and the students. The teacher is learning the identity of each student, while the student are all learning the professional identities of the teachers. The students are trying to find their identities as well. Physical education is very goal-oriented because the lessons will revolve around the goals we are trying to complete as a class. The main goal of physical education is to make the content active and fun. As physical educators, we should be giving our students a goal regarding what they will learn throughout the year within each lesson or activity. Learning is being able to retain the information being taught to you. Learning is observed by the three domains: cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. The domains of learning are cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. The cognitive domain is in your head and how you process things. The affective domain is in your heart and how you feel about things. And the psychomotor domain is about how you perform physically. These are all important because it teaches you how to have a healthy relationship cognitively and effectively with physical education. When physical education programs incorporate fun activities, students are more likely to be active and engaged. When students are active and engaged, they often find the experience more enjoyable. As a society and teachers, we determine how to teach based on what is happening in the media. The media is very influential when it comes to what other people are doing and what people look like, because the people watching want to do or look like them. For example, when professional sports started getting really big and people started making careers and lots of money from it, sports started getting taught in schools. The standards usually control the outcomes on what will be taught, the knowledge, and the skills retained, while on the other hand, outcomes and goals are what you want to see. For example, improved health and activity like losing weight or having a decrease in your mile time. Goals are more specific, while standards are more broad. National standards in physical education play a crucial role in shaping the curriculum and instruction of physical education programs in the United States. These standards provide a framework for what students should know and be able to do in the domains of physical education.